Hello, my name is Pete and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a bigger build, which is an old road turned lavender farm. And I'm really excited to share this one because I love how it turned out. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So as usual, we are going to get started with the terraforming. And today I started out making the cliff face for behind resident services. I know eventually I'm going to want to expand this a little bit, but today I'm just going to do a little bit to get this lavender farm area all squared out. So we'll just quickly lay out that incline for the area that's going to be behind there, and then do the cliff face for the backwards part of the cliff section. And now we are going to go ahead and start laying down the path. And this pathing was a little more difficult for me than usual. I know I wanted it to be in kind of like an old brick farm road style, so I know I wanted this to have a little bit of a more structured look and feel to it. So I wanted it to not necessarily have the flow that the floral path has. This one is much more structured, and I wanted it to be along the same 2, maybe 3 tiles, even if it doesn't necessarily look like it stays on those 2 tiles. I think the garden bricks are really good at having that that broken up feeling, even if they are staying on the same couple of tiles. And so, as I was laying down the pathing, I realized I needed way more space for what I was thinking about doing. So I'm going to really quick cut back to terraforming, but not all of it, because it ended up being a lot of terraforming because I wanted a really large area in order to build this lavender farm. And now it is time for the water terraforming. I just do a small little creek here to get a little bit of extra waterscaping in, and then a small little creek over to the side to just make things nice and get that bubbly creek noise into the area. Which means it is now time to actually start placing furniture down. So first I am going to do a new fake building. You might be able to tell by now that I really like having a couple of fake buildings around. They just add a lot of height, and I of course have to make sure that I remember to put the pathing underneath it, so it's taken down and then re-put back up here in a second. But I do think that a fake building adds a lot of dimension and height to a build area. It just makes it look a little more lived in and a little more, I don't want to say realistic, but I do want to say a little more lived in. But I digress. I digress. So we'll just watch this building get created. So I did have to do a little bit of landscaping, just moving a couple of these lavenders, or, you know, around to get them where the storefronts would fit, but they ended up fitting pretty nicely and framing the whole little barn here that I'm building pretty well, I think, especially once I re-put them back. Once I replanted them, once I replanted them where they should go, they framed the barn really nicely. Which means now it's time for just a little bit of extra decor around the back to help fill out this little area, and then we're going to move on and do some other decor, and you guys can all watch it come together. My vision for this area was kind of like an old road between village houses, so I wanted a nice path where my villagers could walk and smell the lavender and have a lovely place to not just go somewhere, but to actually just be. So to do that, I wanted it to feel nice and full, but still easily navigable on this brick pathway, which is why I put the barrels and later the beehives and the bushes, so it makes it look like, if they're having a stroll, they can just pluck a lavender, put it in one of the barrels, and harvest the honey for it maybe sometime as they're walking. And this is where I tell you that I love the log stakes. I love the log stakes. I think they are the perfect little fencing item if you want. It's not as intrusive, I think, as some of the other fencing. It looks a little bit more dynamic because of the height difference between the three little logs, and you can rotate them to add even more kind of difference between them. I love them. I've put them everywhere along this road. So if you see them all over on my island, just imagine that it's an older fencing that's on its way out. Now onto the other side. This side I wanted it to be a little more structured, as you'll see later why I wanted it to be a little more structured on this side. But I didn't like this hay bed, so I decided it was too big for this little area. But I want to use it later. But this is where it's going to get started and has a little bit more definition to the area. And now it's time for the little picnic area over here. I love picnic areas. I love them. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of them, and I really like this little 4-square picnic code. It's super cute. So I want to use it in a lot of little tiny areas, and I thought this little picnic spot right in the middle of the lavender field would be the perfect opportunity to use that little just 4-tile picnic spot. And now it's time for the reason why I wanted this to be kind of a more structured build. Behind this little lavender field, I'm going to start building kind of a little cityscape, just for that, you know, medieval flavor and medieval touch. So this is going to be the start of a new kind of medieval build. So now we're just going to do a little bit of detail work, going in, finishing up any of those empty spaces, usually with the honeybees, because, I mean, I love the honeybee models, especially in a lavender flower field, but I also do some butterflies, because I still think that they make it feel more alive when you have a whole bunch of the little models buzzing about. I also tried back here to do a little honey stall. I ended up not having the room to do the simple panels because I liked having the lavender box there more than I wanted the simple panels. So I have the lavender honey bottles, the lavender collection box, and then a lavender bucket that you can use to do your own collection. And now we enter the weeds portion of the build. Weeds, mushrooms, all of those little teeny tiny final touches. And this weed did not want to cooperate. It just absolutely refused to do the one I wanted, and the moment that I picked it up and did it the last time, I had to do a victory lap that it finally did the right one. But it is time to just go through and do any final touches, make sure everything looks just looks the way that I envisioned it. Getting all of those nice weeds, a couple of mushroom drops to make it look nice and lush, overgrown, and then it's going to be final reveal time. Except, of course, I forgot some of the key parts, being the one on top and the little one to the side. So as soon as those are finished, it will be final reveal time. And that is it. I am so pleased. This build came together so perfectly. It fit the vibe, it fit the vision, everything I wanted out of this little lavender field walk came together. I am so happy with it. I hope you enjoyed watching the build. I hope it inspires you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!